Hello and welcome to Comedy in a Nutshell. I'm your host Mark Decano, and each episode I ask comedy's funniest people to do the least funny thing, explain themselves. Through their triumphs, failures and fart jokes disguised as philosophy, our guests talk about why comedy matters and what it means to them. Because nothing says comedy like overthinking. I'm the comedy nerd who's seen more than 1,900 different comedians perform live comedy, and you can find out more about my journey in comedy fandom on my website, thecomedynerd.com. Please also take a moment to like, subscribe, rate, review and share the podcast. Thank you. My guest this episode is a Scottish stand-up comedian on the rise. His earthy, passionate storytelling is an absolute delight to watch and has earned him Best Show nominations at the Ish Edinburgh Comedy Awards 3 times. It's comedian Gareth Mutch.
Let's start some beefs. Let's start some rumours. Let's get eyes on this one. Let's fucking Let's only speak in regrets.
Well, why don't we start at the beginning then? How was comedy an influence on you growing up?
See, honestly, when I was reading through the notes and going, right, okay, this is probably going to be the first question you're asked. It feels like a natural place to start. The honest answer is, in my formative years, I honestly remember little. I remember kind of trying to fight my dad on, my dad would play Monty Python and stuff, but when I was young, I would fight him on it, going, "This is old shite. This is I would fight him on all of it." But I did have I was going to say let's be honest, let's call it what it is, Mark. It was a desperate need to perform and have eyes on me. Little only child, ego, just feed it. So I started I remember youth theatre was the first thing I did when I was 11, maybe even younger. And that fed it for a while. It was pretty good for a while, probably about 5-6 years. That was enough to be part of an ensemble. But then just the more times we would take that bow at the end, and I'd be going, "You clapping for them? They get a clap and all. They were shite." I carried this production. And that's when I realized, your ego might need it to be even more just yourself. And then stand-up was the thing. Because my dad, the first ever comedy gig I went to, because my dad, being a very proud Welsh man, he always would just go and see, almost exclusively Welsh comedians at the Fringe.
Right.
And I remember in 2008 or 2009, he was like, "Oh, this one's getting a lot of coverage, Gareth. I think this one's going somewhere. Let's go see." And it was Rod Gilbert. And I went to see that show, and I remember just all of me at 14 years old, just being like, "Imagine that was your identity. Imagine if you could do that to a room." And that's when I felt totally fell in love with stand-up, was seeing Rod at the Pleasance. And it was just, I'd never experienced anything like it.
Yeah.
So I'd say that was the main sort of, trigger point.
Yeah. Was that then the event that sort of made comedy the aim as opposed to drama?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Because I still went on to do acting at college and all this sort of stuff, but pretty much just because I didn't know, there's no other educational avenue for stand-up. But I was doing stand-up the whole time.
Right.
And then the college found out, and I got in a lot of trouble, actually, which still to this day, I'm like, surely that helps. Surely the more performance I'm doing is the better.
Yeah.
But that was definitely the catalyst of, stand-up's an option.
Yeah.
I'd not even considered that a choice before. But seeing Rod with that definitely was like, but what if it was this?
Yeah.
This might be better.
So what was your first stand-up then?
Again, it's kind of a metaphor for some. Well, not a metaphor is the wrong word, but execution. An example that I still carry to today. Till I was probably about. Being honest with you, Mark. I'll put cards on the table. I'm gonna say I was probably about 15 years old when I stopped wetting the bed, and this was for me, this was my deepest, darkest. No one should ever know about this.
Right.
And then for some reason, when I did my first stand-up set, I was like, I think that would get laughed. and I told everyone about like the little alarm that I had, about the fucking dry nights that I was like, the little nappies that I was wearing till I was like 14 years old. Because again, when you're like 16, 17, because I started doing stand up when I was like 17 or 60, 17. So what is a 17-year-old got to say to people of the world? Nothing really. But if he shares, anyone sharing their own life experience can be engaging. And I just found out then, I was like, oh, I think that's maybe what your style should be. All the horrific shit things that happen to you, if you can turn that into a positive, we're bulletproof up here. Because that's my biggest weakness, is now the thing that's making you all laugh.
Yeah.
And it's like, so I think I still hold on to that now. Like in the most recent show, there's stuff about money and, you know, being like, there's loads of like self-deprecating sort of stuff in there that I think are true moments that I've managed now to go, but this definitely makes strangers laugh in the basement. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, that's something that comes up a lot, and I think it's. We'll talk a little bit about performing in different places, but one thing that certainly unites Britain, a love of the underdog and the self-deprecating person.
Yes.
If you've got stories that we can relate to, but you're not arrogant, you're not smug, then we'll root for you.
1,000%. It's another thing that I've always sort of said to Tom, because when I go on tour with like Tom Stade and stuff, I remember he's always like, I don't know why the meat fan. He was like, it's a good joke, man, but I don't know why that's the one. He was like, I feel like I wrote better jokes. And I'm like, I'll tell you exactly why that exploded and we all loved it. Is because that is outside eyes coming in. As you said, there's no arrogance there. It's more just confusion. And then we get to laugh at ourselves going, it's taken this Canadian brain and Canadian eyes to go, do you realize how crazy it is that people just sell meat out of vans here? And we all go, yeah, we do. We all do that.
Yeah.
So it's like that is it. That's definitely a thing that defines, I think, British comedy, is being able to see ourselves in it in a non-arrogant, sort of self-deprecating or confusing or unusual way.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah. Actually, I'm glad you brought that point up about being confused. And I was talking to somebody else, and I was saying that it's fine to be angry, but you can't be angry because you're right. You're angry because you're confused and frustrated because you don't get it.
I tell you what, whoever said that is fucking smart.
This guy.
That's very, very, very good. That's bang on. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're angry, listen to me. How right is this opinion? Oh no, that is going nowhere in the comedy world. But if you're angry at a sheer like confusion and not being able to understand the thing, and it's like almost like, again, it's something that Rod would do a lot. Man breaking down.
Yeah,
he would be like the award-winning mince pie in Nutford Services, just screaming, "What award did it win?" Like that. That's exactly it. He's so angry and flustered.
Yeah.
But over a mince pie, and what award did it win? If he was going, and this is the views that Britain should have.
Yeah.
There's nothing to be gained there. That's I like that a lot. Can I have that? I'm going to write that down. That's mine now. I'm going to tell people I came up with that, because that is great.
Well, tell me then more about this path you took into being a comedian, because obviously starting out as a teenager, like you say, you have nothing to say at that point. So apart from your amazing Wetting the Bed stories, where do you go from there? What's the next step for you?
Well, yeah, I guess it was like college for a bit, but then as soon as they gave me the ultimatum, because they had a weird rule, because the rule was you can only act in our productions.
Right.
Like if you get cast outside of this, like we want to be the ones to like nurture your talent or whatever, which I kind of get. But again, I'm like, just let people act, man. If we're all here to be actors and someone gets a job, I don't think they should be punished.
Yeah.
But then, so I was just doing a gig one weekend, and my lecturer was in the audience. Killed it. I had a really good gig. So I walk up to them going, new favorite in class. And it was the total opposite. He was like, I didn't know you were doing this. This has to be reviewed. And I was like, well, does it? So as soon as that ultimatum was gave, it was stand up. Right. Bye college.
Yeah.
And then it was probably at that point. And again, there's so many, as I say, my dad was definitely trying to get, No, I don't even think trying to get me to fall in love with comedy. He just loved it.
Yeah.
So there was like always like Billy Connolly was always on, and like there was so many like influences there. But it was really just once I started doing it. And again, like I remember the feeling of the first gig I did, sitting there with a bunch of strangers, and the host just walked in, just confident and as a 17-year-old boy, I'm sitting there going, I'll never get there. I could do this for 30 years. I reckon I'm I'm programmed the way. If 30 years down the line, I'm still walking in shitting myself because this is a mad thing we're all doing. But I just remember how cool he was and like getting it, like just coming up to everyone, shaking that. And I'm like, how are you doing all this? I'd just be sat in the corner greeting. And then the headliner came in and like they hadn't seen each other in a while and they were going, oh, when was that last gig? And they were like, oh yeah, it was in Leeds, wasn't it? And I just remember watching that conversation going, that would be, if you ever get that moment with anyone else, that's you've done it, you're in it.
Yeah.
And I just remember just seeing how the comedy sort of circuit would work.
Yeah.
And I was like, but these two people make a living off this. I don't know who the fuck they are. They're not big TV comedians, but they're out here. This is their job. So it was, learning all of that and like just from about 17, 18, it's been tunnel vision, Mark. There's been at no point any other thought, any sort of maybe this isn't gonna. Maybe we would be better if I've just been fucking blinkers on. And for many years, that was probably terrible. A terrible choice. But it's just been since I was like 17, 18, it's been tunnel vision, the only thing that I'm willing to do, really.
But you must have had, witnessing these early gigs, these conversations, you must have had expectations going in about what being a comedian was, what it meant. How did those expectations form? What surprises did you encounter?
Well, I think the biggest surprise I had was there are so many comedians making a good living who are not. I thought comedian had to be Saturday night television on a panel show. Like I thought all of the comedians were there.
Yeah.
And learning there's actually arguably better ones not there. Like just the circuit is full, annoyingly full of just genuinely talented people. And some of them do break through, and then when they do, it feels like a win for everyone. A good example would be, I think, happening right now in like Phil Ellis. I'm very excited to watch Phil Ellis just become known to the wider populace.
Yeah.
And everyone go and have everyone else think, oh, who's this guy who's just turned up out of nowhere? And we all know, Phil's been this for as long as all of us can remember. But to them, they're just going to turn on Taskmaster and go, oh, this guy's good. And we'll go, yeah, he is actually. Yeah.
Yeah, we all knew.
Yeah. Well, of course we did. But the wider scale, they have no fucking idea who Phil Ellis is yet.
Yeah.
And they're about to, and it's a beautiful moment when you see, again, not on that scale, but like Jeff Innocent has built a social media following now, and it feels like I remember for years going, well, there's one of the best club comics headliners that I've ever gigged with.
Yeah.
And seeing him get thousands of followers and put on tours, it's just nice going, this is where that person should be. But I probably just thought that world didn't exist. I thought it was just TV.
Yeah.
So then when I realized I could just go Scunthorpe, Hull, Sunderland, Manchester, like I could just do that for, like, do you know what I mean? Like I could just hit little random towns in the UK, get $200-300 a pop, and then head home. I'm like, that's not a bad life. I would take that in a heartbeat. And I remember thinking that at like 18, going, yeah, if we can get there, we're in.
Yeah,
we are in.
So how about those paying gigs then? So becoming sort of semi-pro and then pro. I mean, how did that form? How did you find those opportunities?
Thank God for the Stand Comedy Club. That is the only place. that is the place where I started amateur. It was gigging on like a Sunday night now. And then like your first taste of weekend gigs, but you're in the 10 spot, so it's like 50 quid. All the way to the point of like, I think I'm now ready to go around the UK, because I was only really in Scotland. Really, I do the occasional thing in like England, Wales, or Northern Ireland. The occasional, but I was just in Scotland, and again mainly stand. But again, I do kind of back it, because then when I would go to down south to England or London or whatever, and I would see some promoters be like, kind of like how the populace now will be with Phil Ellis. Who the fuck's this guy? It's like, yeah, I've been doing this for like 10 years just in Scotland, like just up there. And as you know, as good as the pool is up here, which I really do think it is, hard to make a lot of noise if you're just up here, like very hard. Like, as I say, I've been doing it for like 10, maybe even over 10 years. And I remember my first trial spot at the store, just like to be like, would we like you back? A woman from Comedy Central was like, I want to put you on TV. And I was like, this hasn't happened in 11 years of being up there. Guys, stuff's happening down here. Like, I've done one and already Sutton's moved. So I think we should all, like, it's just crazy how true that is, though. Like, that is, you know. So I would say realizing that the job can still exist. No, that wasn't the question, Gareth. The question was the experience from financials. Yeah, the Stand Comedy Club really paved that way for. I think I did every sort of chapter and level of comedian just at the Stand.
Right.
Like, I went from being a complete amateur to an amateur who's got a bit, maybe something, to, with Sundays, we'll give him Sundays, to then weekend 10 minutes, to then semi-pro, to then pro. I think I did all of that really just nurtured under and by the Stand, so that then when I left, I wasn't shite. Do you know what I mean? It's like a really good football academy before going up to the Premier League. That's kind of what it was for me. I just stayed in one academy, nurtured by their coaches, and then when another club came in for me, I was ready to go.
One of the things I enjoy when I go to Fringe every year in Edinburgh is I get to see Scottish comedians or international comics who are performing who haven't performed in London. So although Edinburgh is like a trade fair for comedy, all the industry comes in and says, okay, show us what you've got, and then you have to fight to the death to be seen. If you're performing in London where there's like 200 comedy clubs and about 10,000 comedians, you know.
True.
But this is where everybody is the other 300 days of the year.
Yeah, that's just where the hub is. Everyone kind of engorges on Edinburgh for a month, and they'll all be there. They'll all be there. Every head of every channel, every sort of, like, they'll all be there. They'll go in, have a peek, pick their guys, and they they leave. No one's hanging around going, no, let's just see what Edinburgh's like in September. No one's doing that. But so that is there. Everyone does move. What's the best thing you've seen then? What did you love sort of seeing of the guys that you have, or your gals? There's no way to say that without it's coming off like an absolute problem. Or
well, in fairness, I think in recent years I have seen more women in comedy than men.
And what do we do about it, Mike?
How can we nip this in the bud? No, okay. Well, look, I'll tell you, when I was interviewed a couple of years ago about what has changed in comedy, one of the most important things for me is that I get to hear voices that I wouldn't have heard before. Be that women in comedy, but also different ethnicities, different backgrounds, different genders or lack thereof, etc. Voices I haven't heard before, and they have different perspectives and therefore different jokes. So that's what's exciting and interesting. And it was very interesting that for me that Sam Nicoresti won Edinburgh as a trans comedian. That's a great statement. But of course, it's a great show, Baby Doomas. I think Mark Forward, who, as you know, won the Ish Award.
Absolutely.
A comedian I'd never heard of, from Canada, unheard of here. I saw him and I laughed so much. And it's something that you said a minute ago about people don't know who these people are. And it's another thing that I can go and take a punt on people I've never heard of. I'll just go, I've got an hour, let's go.
And when it comes from someone like yourself as well, who has seen so much, like so much.
Too much.
Let's call it what it is, Mark. You've seen too much. You've seen you saw too many shows. But for anything, in that vast a field to stand out. Crazy. So mark forward, Sam Nicoresti, well done. Because I honestly, that is the craziest thing. And also as well, I genuinely remember, I want to remember who the comic was because I want to credit them with it, but I can't. But it was someone about, and this is when I think I sort of learned how important representation is so like the story I just told you, I went to see Rod Gilbert, changed my life. I went, oh, imagine that was you. Dime a dozen for me. It didn't have to be Rod. It could have been Dara. It could have been fucking McIntyre. It could have been Lee Evans. Could have been Billy Cox. Whoever. Dime a dozen. Straight white male. Heaps.
Yeah.
If I was there as like when I was sort of growing up, if I was, it's just such a mental thing I'm about to say, but I hope it sounds smart. It's smarter than it does in my head anyway. But if I was a little black girl, right, there's the start of the sentence, Mark. Okay. There's the crazy start of the sentence. Who am I looking at on the TV that could make me go, I could do this?
Yeah.
Realistically, in my head, from when I was growing up, Gina Yashire, I can't think of many. I could think of way more now. And again, so if I was a trans person right now who wanted to do stand-up, I would be looking at Sam going, I can do this. That is an option for me.
Yeah.
Because people do need that. People do need to see themselves in some reflection doing the thing at the highest level so they can enter it and go, well, look, I could do that. That's me there. That's me up there.
Yeah.
And I hadn't even really thought of it like that, again, because but I'm up there all the time. Look, there's so many of me.
Yeah.
But when you're not that really well represented, you could think, well, I can't do that. I've never seen myself in that space.
Yeah.
Which is sad. That's horrific. So, yeah, someone like Sam Nicoresti winning is fantastic.
Yeah.
Because, again, good show. That goes without saying. To win that, you have to have a good show. But it's also important. Like, it also means something and could inspire a whole, as you said, there are a million different voices out there and they all have something to add. They all are adding something to the human experience that's what I'm like you. That's when I'm buying my ticket, I want to hear a human experience. That's what I'm going to see.
Yeah.
So, and it's all adding to that. So I think it is, as you say, all very good and important.
What about your own comedy style? When you started out, and, it's the only story that's come up, so I'm going to keep coming back to it.
Piss in the bed?
Piss in the bed. It's up there. Let's see. Did you go in thinking, I'm going to tell these stories? I don't have any stories, but I'm going to get there. This is the path that I'm taking. Did you think of yourself as a storyteller from the outset?
Yes, I think so. I think from right off the jump, it was the thing that I survived high school with quite easily was no one really could bully me or get under my skin because I've already done 50 bits on whatever you're going to come up with. Whatever you could accuse me of, I have already so much made ownership of that you can't get me. So I think I just knew that from the off of shit on yourself, make everyone else laugh. Personal tales of woe. Proper, like, and because again, if I was someone in the audience, I'm trying to maybe think too deep and profound about it. Like, I was Comedy in a Nutshell. The name of that podcast, I'm like, that's just profound. I just need to be deep. I just feel this urge to be profound in every answer. But again, if I was in an audience and I had this thing that I was like shamed of or concerned about, worried that a big secret, and I saw someone quite, charismatically owning it and having everyone laugh at it, that would make me feel way better about the thing. And I think that's a nicer way to open up to the whatever the big thing is. Nay fucking money. Watch me make this my favorite joke of this year's festival. Like whatever it is, like piss in the bed, bring it back. Whatever it be, the shameful thing has always been my first point of call for stand up. Always. What was the last dumb thing I said? What was the last stupid situation I found myself in? Like, whatever. It's all tales of personal woe.
Yeah.
And it was that from the off, and I've never really deviated from it.
Yeah. So the big question then really is, how much of you is you when you're on stage? Because obviously you're talking about personal stories, you're talking about those tales of woe. How much are you happy talking about those stories? Or would you talk about those things off stage? How much of it, the person that you are on stage is, you're nodding away. And the person on stage, is that an exaggeration of you, or is it like a brazenly honest persona?
See, I really like both of the words you said there. Brazenly honest, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Like, again, from just such a young age, I remember being like 12 and saying to my teacher, well, I'm an open book. Like, I've obviously overshared to my fucking teacher. And my teachers went, you maybe want to wind that up. And I've been like, yeah, and I'm an open book, miss. Like, I remember... I've always been that way. So yeah, I would say it is a heightened version. It is a heightened performative version of myself. But I do think it is inherently me. And also a big thing, and I will declare this on your podcast right now, because it's also something that really intrigues me anytime I go see an act and I'm watching them. And it'll be nice. I'll laugh, I'll enjoy myself. But sometimes I do leave going, I really hope that was true. I really hope that was real. Like, if they tell this whole beautiful story and they paint the best picture, and then you bump into them in like a fucking artist bar, like Abattoir, and then they go, yeah, it's shite made up. I will be like, no, nah, you can't do that. Like, let me believe. I will declare this on your podcast, and I mean it. If I'm telling a story on stage, which I do often, it is true. 100% of the time. That thing fucking happened. It might be an exaggerated version. I might have changed the end to make it a better story for the stage. But it fucking happened. And I've got into so many arguments with comedians that I love, and they'll say dumb shit like, oh, the truth's holding you back. No, it isn't. The truth is the fucking power for me. Truth is everything. Because I don't want anyone to leave my audience with that question. I wonder if that story was true. It is. Take it as read. Take it as read. That happened. It's important to me. I don't know why, but it is important to me. I want to know what's real and what's not in comedy. It's weird, but I need to know it.
Yeah. A lot of time, audience members will conflate the two, the artist and the person on the street. But it's interesting that you take everything as gospel, but in your case, it virtually is.
I think that's, again, another reason as to why the podcast is so successful, because they're like, right, we've seen him in that space. We've seen him at work doing stand-up. A podcast is way more, well, what's he really? Like, who's he, though? Or, like, who are they? We want to know more and more and more and more and more about the person we love. Yeah. Like, loving what they do isn't really enough now. Yeah. We want to know, what does he have in his toast, though? I'll have the same. Is it marmalade? I don't like marmalade, but if it is, I'll fucking eat it because that's what they like. Like, we want to know more and more and more about the person. Yeah. Which I think is why stuff like this and podcasts, they're like, we get to see that a bit more. Yeah. But the amount of times, like, I can't remember when it was, if it was last year or a couple of years ago, but I did a joke about, again, not a joke. I haven't written a joke in my life. I just talk about stuff for a bit. I'd had the story of how me and my wife got engaged, and every single person after the end of that would come up and go, "That can't be real. That can't be." And I'm like, "It is." What? Like, and they're like, "No, but you've like exaggerated it." I was like, "Nope, that happened." And that again is just a little. I think there's another layer to that then. Like, everyone laughed at it, that's fine. But then when people are so kind of captured by it, they have to be like, but that didn't fucking happen like that, did it? And I get to go, it did, and I promise you it did. Yeah. I just feel like there's something more to that then.
Yeah. It's amazing how these things always seem to happen to people who are just that position to talk about it.
Yeah.
Nothing ever happens to me.
That's such a good point. That's such a good point. That's such a good point. Well, we should give him he'll use this. That's very funny, Mark.
But that is a thing, isn't it? That when something happens in a comedian's life, big or small, at what point do they go, I can get 5 minutes out of this? You know?
Oh, I would say within 30 seconds. Do you know the story about I'll say the name. The name might not trigger to you, but the story might. Ralph Brown. Do you know what happened to Ralph Brown last Fringe?
No.
Or 2 Fringes ago?
Don't think so.
Up and coming guy from Edinburgh, good friend of mine. Shout out to Ralph Brown. Love that guy. Love that guy. He was doing his show in Edinburgh, his Fringe show, at the Waverley Bar on the Royal Mile, and a guy walked in off the street with a gun and like took the place. I'll ruin the story now because I saw genuine concern enter your eyes there going, where's the podcast going now? It wasn't a real gun. Nothing bad happened. But to Ralph, he doesn't know that. And he comes in and he starts, like talking about, I think magic was what he was talking about, and the being a king of Scotland. Normal stuff to say with a gun in your hand. And so Ralph's terrified. All this craziness happens. They finally get him and the gun out of there and everyone out of his audience. But for a bit of time there, Ralph was like, there's a man in my show. He's holding and swinging a gun. Me and my audience are fucking hostages. We are this is a horrible situation. When that story broke, I phoned Ralph, text Ralph and said, are you okay? And he said yes. And then the next thing I said was, you lucky fucking bastard. That this is just, and so many things like that have happened to Ralph. So many mad things that and as soon as he tells me about him, I go, prick, there's another 10 minutes for Edinburgh. Like it's the first thing. Whenever anything bad happens. and it usually, it does. It's never good things because, like you just enjoy them, just be a human in the moment with them. But when something bad happens, it almost is kind of like this beautiful shield that we all have, where instead of living in the bad moment, we do get to go, but if that's 5 minutes, then bring it on. It can happen. The hardest one, though, is when something bad happens to or something, not even necessarily bad, but just something that is inherently a human experience, but they wouldn't be thrilled talking about it to a partner or a partner's sister. And I'm there going, I want this, but I don't know how to ask for it. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes something will happen and I'll be like, she will so not be happy with me telling that story, but it would be great. My advice to comedians would be when that happens, just fucking take it. They'll eventually they won't be annoyed at you. It's more important that you do the joke. It's way more important.
If you do the joke well, it becomes a famous routine. Then they'll be in the pub going, that's about me.
That's about me. Yes, exactly, Mark. Exactly. And then they'll want ownership of it. So do the joke. Always do the bit.
You talked a little bit about watching other comedians and how you respond, how you react. Do you watch comedy in the way that a comedian does, that quietly nodding and thinking, I like what you did there? Or are you able to, as you alluded, to sort of sit back and be entertained by it?
I definitely can be. I definitely can, but 9 times out of 10. And again, it depends who I'm watching. Because I love watching as many comedians as I can. And there's so many, and I've had this conversation with Gavin Webster as well a few times. I will find someone, just a naturally funny person, doing it for the first time, way infinitely funnier than Chris Rock, whoever you want, as high as the level you want to go. Someone who knows what they're doing very well is not even half as funny as just a funny person doing it for the first time. because they have no idea of, like, I don't know. I was going to say the rules. There are no rules, I guess, but like, there's just some things you do and there's some things you don't do. And before you learn them, and you're just the funny person figuring it out, my God, that's when you can have me on the floor. Like a good open spot before they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
10 out of 10 every single time. Every single time. It kills me. Because then they're just being like their natural selves.
Yeah.
Before they go, I think this bit would work for my act, or whatever other artistry wank we all do once we've been doing it for too long. But when you're just guy who's trying, my God, that's the funniest.
Yeah.
But so I watch comedy as like heaps, as much as I can. And I do let myself go, and I can find myself properly like, just being, I'm here to enjoy.
Yeah.
But 9 times out of 10, it is turn to your mate going, great. Very good. Like almost like angry. Fuck. That's good, isn't it? That's a good thought he's had there. Bastard. Piece of shit. But yeah, I can't let myself go.
Yeah. But again, it's often said that when you look out at an audience, you'll fixate on the one person who isn't laughing.
Yeah.
They're the one you got on board. And I always say, well, I wouldn't worry about it. We're probably just a comedian.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually such a solid point. That is such a solid point. And I say this every single year. I say this. I do not understand when comics have a reviewer in at the Fringe. They'll all put out the same battle cry of, "Oh, if any comics want to come into the show today, it'd be a really good day." I've got that. That's the fucking last day you want them in. That don't get them in today. That is the shittest plan, and everyone does it year after year. Yeah. I'm like, what are we doing? That's famously what we're like. We're famously shit audiences. This forever, and then come up there going, really good show, man. I like the structure. Shite! Get out of here. That's the worst. I want someone to fucking guffaw, please. And no comedians bringing that. None. That's mad.
Let's talk about Edinburgh a little bit and some of these shows. Again, talking about people who've been doing shows year in, year out, and then you suddenly happen upon them and you go, oh my God, wow. For me, and you mentioned Welsh comedians, so Steffan Allen I encountered 2 years ago.
Yes.
Who'd been going a decade more before that. I'd never heard of him. And then I mentioned to a couple of people at the Leicester Comedy Festival, I just saw this guy, it was amazing. And they're like, yeah. We know. I was like, well, okay. Sorry I left the metropolitan bubble. You know.
Well aware, Mark, actually, brother.
Yeah. So, okay, fine. But again, in 2023, I encountered a comedian named Gareth Mutch for the first time, doing a show called Belter at the Stand, of course, Stand 2. First time I saw your show, and for want of a better phrase, absolutely fell in love. Fantastic comedy, really, really brilliantly put together show. And
very kind, man.
Wonderful. And I know you've been going for years before then. So what's been your Fringe experience? Tell me all about what's changed from when you started out to this year.
That is a very, very good question. And thank you for that as well, Mark. That fucking, that means a lot to me, man. Thank you. So I think my first year at the Fringe was 2012, I want to say. Mm-hmm. And I was doing a split bill with a couple other comedians, free Fringe, at a place I think called the Jekyll and Hyde, which is like, I've always been, hilariously, I've always done shows just on the wrong side of it. But like, it's got progressively nearer to where the people are. So like Jekyll and Hyde's like, so like the other far like side of Queen Street and stuff. But for my first year at the Fringe, I remember we got one review, and I think it was like 2 stars. It was like it was dog shit. But I remember there was a line in it said, because I was on last, and there was a wee quote from it that went, "If ever there was a lesson in patience, this show is it." And it was like, if you're willing to sit through like 40 minutes of shite to average comedy to see an average 17-year-old, then this is the show for you. But again, as a 17-year-old, I was going, huh? That's a quote. We'll pull that for next year.
I'm the least shit on the bill.
Yeah. On a bill of 3, the least shit. Did they say anything like the best? Nope, the least shit. But it was enough. It was enough for me to go, there's something here. So I probably did split bills for about 4 years. With some really good comedians as well, like with Robin Granger, me and Gareth Waugh did a split bill called Game of Loners, which doesn't even scan as a pun for Game of Thrones. It's really, I don't know what we were doing. There was one year. What's the Pleasance do it? Is it like, it's not, is it AAA or like Comedy Reserve or something?
Presence Reserve.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. The Stand one year was like, we should do our own version of this. We've got a bunch of comedians here at our disposal. We should have and we'll call it Stand Rising. And we'll do this every year. And there will be a new class and a new crop of comedians every year. Killed it dead year 1. It was me, Robin Granger, Gareth Waugh, and Liam Withnail were the Stand Rising fucking chosen.
I mean, today, great lineup. I don't know what it was like back then.
Bookable. But in 2014, and they put us on so late in the biggest room Stand had, because they just had visions of, everyone's going to want to go to. It was on at the same time as Best of Scottish, and Best of Scottish was in a smaller room, and we were every night we'd be like, if you're getting flyered right now, do you want to go see who we think might be good in the future, or currently the best, and the best right now is cheaper, by the way. No brainer. Who the fuck is going to this show? I did that for like a few years, split bill stuff, and that's definitely the way to, if there are any comedians listening, and by God I hope there is so they can hear this, if I could fucking tell new comedians anything, it would be this. This is always the piece of advice I try to give, is, do you know when you were a kid and all you were thinking about was, life will be so much better if I'm an adult, and you just want to be older. You just want to get older to the point where you forget to fucking be a kid. And then also, here's the big newsflash. When you get to that adult age, all you want to do is go back.
Yeah.
That's all you want to do. Yeah. I think comedy is very similar. I think a lot of people start, and it's just such a such a romantic journey and thought going, imagine if anything ever comes this. You have your buddies and you're like, let's go and do 5 minutes at the yuck giggle hut or whatever the fuck. And then you go and do this new 5 and 1 minute of it's good. And then you go for beers with your buddies and you're all writing on stuff together. It's all just romantic and beautiful and exciting. Those, a lot of acts today, so fucking many comedians today are like, how do I get on that gig? Or weekends, who books the weekend? How do I impress? Stop. Fucking slow down. You're just wanting to be an adult. And as soon as you get there, it's not as fun. It's not as fucking cool anymore. I'll tell you for a fact, those Stand Rising days and getting a flat during the Fringe with like Roscoe and CMB and stuff, like those are all that's when we were fucking nobodies. That's the shit that I cherish. I'm not sitting here now going romantically thinking about, I get to play fucking Hull in a couple of weeks. It's become just the job. It's become just life. And I still love it, but slow fucking down. And to the Fringe as well. So many good acts. Yeah. Just jump to ours. Relax. Fucking enjoy it. You're in the best bit. Would you not want to stay in the best bit for longer?
Yeah.
So sorry. That's just my little PSA to comedians. If anyone listens to this, just, be a child. That's what I always try and say. Like, you're just rushing to being an adult and nobody likes it there. We all want to be back. So I'm glad that I did split bills for years and years and years. Like, probably 4 or 5 years of just split bills with buddies, making memories. Like, love it. When stand-up's just whatever you fucking want it to be.
Yeah.
The second you do your own solo show and you're like, right, well, this is it now. It's a lot more sort of like lonely in your own sort of experience and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, the question was, how you evolved through the Fringe, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've went off on one there. I
No,
just went
absolutely.
and I've rant going, listen up, comedians.
Hear me.
Yeah, exactly. Hear me now. But yeah, so then I did my first ever sort of full-length run at the Fringe was, again, Rose Theatre, the bottom of Rose Street, the wrong side of fucking town, at the Gilded Balloon.
Mm-hmm.
And I did the Gilded Balloon for 2 years. And then the last 3. Does that mean I've done 5? That's fucking crazy. That's mad to me. Yeah. So yeah, and then the last 3 years have been at the Stand. And what I wanted to do with the Stand, like my little test was, could I, it doesn't make sense to have a venue, have a time, ish. Like it's always 6 something. I think the latest has been 6:50 and this year was like 6:05. So 6 something, same room, same venue. Does that help? Will that generate more and more people to come back? And I have found, I think it does. I have sold more tickets in the last 3 years than I ever have, and it has got higher each year. And I'm like, is that because I'm making it easier for them, or is it something else? But anyway, the test has worked. Whatever I don't actually still know how we did it, but I like the numbers. But and I love the Stand, man. I really would be like their guy. I would treat it like a football team. I would show loyalty to them. I would sign a contract for them every year and year. But we are getting to the point now where I'm like, you know, I do think I want to give myself a challenge of a bigger room. Mm-hmm. So if I was to predict, I think you might have to change up your time and venue for me next year would be my guess. But that also still excites me because that's again new for me. I'm going out of my comfort zone. Yeah. Because as lovely as the Stand is, it is that. It's comfortable. I know all the staff members. I know I can kind of have an off day there and no one's fucking losing a job or whatever. Like I'm not like I could have a bad night at the Stand and I know people are going to go, it's Mutchy, we know him. It's all fine.
Yeah.
Whereas if I was somewhere else and I didn't, and people don't know me and I turn up in not a bad mood or whatever, but not in as joyful as I could be.
Yeah.
And I say, and maybe someone takes something I've said the wrong way. These are all, it's all just, I think I do need to go outside of my comfort zone again for next year.
Yeah.
And maybe that still will be at the Stand.
Well, if that's your comfort zone physically is being at the Stand, where is your comfort zone in terms of what you do between being on a bill with other comics, doing your own hour? What do you enjoy doing the most? The writing process, perhaps?
Oh, God, that's such a good question. It's definitely not the writing process. We can chalk that out now. I don't think, as I said, I think I did say earlier, I don't think I've ever wrote a joke in my fucking life. I just kind of do this. Because I have even this is so sad. No one else podcasts with a stand-up microphone. I'm just like, I will do this around the house. That's what I'll do. I'll think of a thought. Yeah. Yes, Mark. But even you've got the more professional, like, yeah, I'll slot it in. I can sit back and I'm an interviewer right now. Now I'm like, let's do bits. I'm on. But I'll do that just like round the house. Like if I have a thought, I'll just pick up the microphone and just start doing a routine. Like there's no writing there. There's no writing involved. It's just doing like a maniac. So it's definitely not the writing. I do enjoy podcasting. I think there's, again, we're looking for the human experience. We're looking for me anyway, truth. Mm-hmm. I think a podcast is an easier, quicker way to that truth, rather than having to go up to the comedians after in a bar going, was that real? I love doing hours as well because the thing with that is you do get to find your audience, like because I've seen great comedians on weekend bills just mix compilation shows, bomb, and then but when you deploy them in front of their people, to the fucking moon, and it's just so there's something to be said for it is just better, and as well just doing an hour because sometimes when you're doing 20 minutes in a club, which is the job as well, like. 9 times out of 10, that is what my job is. Entertain and appease drunk bastards. That's the job. But like sometimes if you don't like get a laugh like within 3 minutes, you're like, that's a portion of this gone now. Whereas in an hour, it doesn't have to be as, and it's almost actually exhausting, the ones that are.
Yeah.
Like if we go and see a stand-up who's just laugh, gag, after about 25, 30 minutes of that, I'm like, all right, mate, let's fucking ease off a bit, right? You've got me for an hour. I'm not going anywhere. I like you. Stop trying too hard. So I like the hour for that. There's always bits you can like let breathe. They already like you. They're there for you.
Yeah.
So yeah, the hour is definitely the best thing.
Yeah.
And also as well, the feeling of it. At no point I've been like, fuck, this feels like an hour up here. It always just, it's so mad, but you blink it. It feels like, that feels like what 20 minutes feels like for me.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So yeah, I'm gonna lock in the hour. That's my favorite thing to do. That's when I feel most at home.
So when you did your first hour, your debut to the industry, if you like, were you conscious of it being that debut, of it being your announcement of yourself? This is my hour. I'm setting out my stall now and putting all my stock into this hour. Was it big like that in your mind, or was it just exciting because it was that first hour?
I absolutely was aware of it, as I think everyone is. And I think everyone also has this, because you can only be best newcomer once. That's the thing. Like, you can only get that newcomer award once. So when do you pounce to go, I might be in the running this year? Again, comedians, hear me now. Get that out your head. It's a stupid thought that I think only holds you back. You should go when you want to go and when you think you're ready. And also, it's just mad going into any festival or anything going, I think this is award worthy. It's crazy. If it happens, from the last few years, I've been very lucky enough to know that feeling of going, oh fuck, people have seen it and they like it and they're long list or short listing this for award. Feels incredible. But if you go in, this will probably be there. I just find it creates a whole anxiousness, like tense energy that is not helpful for comedy. Comedy shouldn't be like boxers. Boxers need that because they're going to fucking war. They need a kill the other one, and it means everything to me. Comedians should comedians should be the polar opposite. You should be hanging out with people, your buddies and your friends and people you love, right up until you go on stage. You should be going on in that energy. Like, good one, Bill. Oh, hey, we're all here. Like, it should be as relaxed as possible. And when people do think too much about awards and stuff, but I was that at the time. And again, I did all of it. I was like, it was structured out of its arse. Like, it was the most structured show I've ever came up with. There was like so many like different sections of the show. And I also was like, if I just do stand up, that's boring. So I was like, I'll do multimedia. And it was me trying to figure out, like, looking at different elements of my life going, right, let's fix this bit. Let's fix this bit. And I remember one of them was like, 'cause I was a single guy at the time, chronically, painfully single. So I was like, right, let's do that. And a very good friend of mine, the voice of Love Island, Ian Sterling. I went on a date which is again, Mark. It's kind of true. I remember I asked this girl out. She said yes, and then I said to her, "Are you happy me filming this for my fringe show?" Like a fucking maniac, like an actual psychopath. That, and she was like, what? Yeah." So I turn up with a fucking crew, full Brent. Like, I'm on purposely doing weird stuff. Like when we ordered drinks, I try to neck it, and I'm like spilling it all down me. I get like halfway through, fucking burping. She's like looking at camera, going, "What the fuck is this?" All that's going on in my head is gold, baby. We're making gold here. And I gave all the footage to Ian Sterling. and I got him to do like his Love Island voiceover stuff over the top of it. So that was in the show. I was like, this is, and like at every single point of all the elements of my life that I was like looking at, one was travel. I told the story about how I proposed to a stripper in Prague. True story, Mark. We don't have time. So it was like a whole a whole bunch of elements to the show, but every bit ended up coming back to my love for comedy and the man that instilled that in me, Rod Gilbert. So then the end of the show is me realizing I haven't got fucking control over any of this. I am completely powerless to any element of my life. But there's one guy who has dictated everything, so maybe he could dictate more. Maybe he has the answers, and it's Rod Gilbert. And then it just kicks into this video of me getting on a plane, flying to fucking Cardiff, asking strangers. And there's like so many different callbacks to the show in this little montage. And it's me giving up in this pub in Cardiff, just ordering a pint. And I'm just sitting there, just deflated. And then the camera just pans, and next to me is fucking Rod Gilbert. And then he goes, oh, "You look a bit down or something." And I was like, "Oh my God, you're fucking Rod Gilbert." And he was like, "Yeah. What do you want?" Because the show was called Gareth Mutch Wants Much More. And he went, the show ended on, "What do you want?" And it was just me going, "A pint." And then it just cut. And I was like, "Geez it. Award me. Award me." Like, I thought it had everything. Like, it was the 10 years of doing, well, not 10 years, but like 8 years of doing stand-up, all of those best bits, structure, fucking video packages, celebrity fucking appearances. I was like, just easy. But if I'm going to be honest, I don't think we were ever in the running. I don't think we got, I think we fucking fell at the first hurdle. But no, so I definitely tried to deploy the best newcomer show.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it kind of weirdly, I went into that month with a weirder headspace than I've went into any other Edinburgh.
Yeah.
And it's been better since I've just let that go. Going, okay, yeah, we're not in the conversation, boys, turns out. So you can't expect it, you can't plan for it. Just do your show.
But as you said, you've had 3-ish nominations. You've been as nominated as many years as the ish has existed.
Crazy, that. Absolutely crazy. Yeah. And I think, and I could be wrong. I probably am wrong. But in my head, I can think of me, Phil Ellis, Eric Rushton. Is there anyone else that's been on every 3 years? I can't think. Maybe. But it properly is. It's like, it's so cool.
Yeah.
And you know what? I've spoke to a lot of people about this, like a lot of people. And I will say it now. There's a thing in Scottish comedy sort of culture where and I get it, I do understand it, but we like to kind of be upset about our standing within the other awards. And I get it. It's sad. There definitely is enough talent up here that we would have been represented more. I do think that. But the thing that fucking really winds me, and it properly did annoy me, and I'm more just like, let's just be better. If we look just over here at what the Ish Awards are doing, from venues, artists, like across the types of show, across the board, it is varied. And like, again, Raymond Mearns is someone that when I started comedy in Scotland, Raymond Mearns, he's just I fucking don't have a pot to piss in, muchy baby, just fucking rubbing his belly. He's this larger than life presence who, like, just in conversations with him, you're like, yeah, you could have and probably should have been a fucking superstar. He's so unbelievably funny. And Raymond's a guy that despite how great he is, he's never in a million years going to be considered over there in the other ones. But when you see a name like Raymond Mearns longlisted at the Ish Awards, it's just another thing. I remember looking at it going, fucking come on. That's so good. That's so unbelievably good. Like, yeah, because why wouldn't you go see something at the Beehive? Raymond's fucking killer. Rory Miller, an upcoming Scottish guy who's put together a really good hour for his first year. And Ish saw that and went, yeah, this is fucking deserved of it. I just think it's time that we shift this narrative from, oh, we're not being fucking looked at. We totally are over here, and it's better over here.
Yeah.
As someone that went to both awards this year, let me tell you, the other one's a fucking very hoity-toity, snooty little shit fest. Ish is a fucking laugh. Ish is a laugh, and it is varied. And there was like CMB was longlisted, Stephen Buchanan was longlisted, Robin Granger was longlisted. I was shortlisted. Fucking Io. Let's talk about Io. That's a boy from Edinburgh, 22, 23, Edinburgh boy. Got a fucking Best Newcomer award at the Ish Awards. Yes. Let's all rally around fucking that. That's beautiful. That's so. Yeah, again, hear me now. It's all being very hear me now, and I'm sorry.
No,
and I'm worried there that I've come off angry for opinion rather than, and I'm like, shit, have I not been listening? But yeah, it's just, and long live the fucking Ish Awards, man. I think they are so much better. They're so much more varied, and you know what? They're just cooler. They're just better. So yeah, shout out, big up. Can't give enough love and praise to what Ish have been doing the last few years.
Fantastic. What then do you think have been your best and worst experiences in comedy so far?
Best experience is a tie between probably three things, actually. Number one, first time being longlisted by Ish. Because again, it was when, should I name check him? I will, fuck it, because I really like him and I look up to him. Mark Nelson sent me a really sweet message when that happened, and he was like, "That's happened now, mate. No one can take that away from you. No matter what fucking happens to you tomorrow, no, that's happened now. That's in the books. You've been nominated for an award at Edinburgh. Boom, done. That's something that can't be taken away from you now."
Yeah.
And when it's someone like Mark Nelson saying that to you as well, that meant a lot. So yeah, the first Ish nomination. The second thing is when I went on tour with fucking Tom Stade for like the first time and got to, I think that's maybe the thing that made me a better comedian, was just getting so used to performing in like theaters. So like whenever that happens now, and like I can still see some guys are like, oh fuck it, that's a lot of fucking seats. Whereas because I've just done it for 3 years with Tom, I'm rocking up to like Leicester Square Theatre being like, yeah, I know this room. How mad's that? I'm comfy here now. And I wouldn't have got that without Tom. And then the third one is a life one. It's a total life moment, but it wouldn't have been afforded to me without comedy. Was this year's Six Nations. Wales are playing Scotland in Edinburgh. Rod's up for the game, and we're texting each other trying to see if we can work something out to have a drink at the show. Yeah. My dad, who's this admirer of Rod, fucking loves Rod. Yeah. Getting to like introduce my dad to Rod at the rugby was a moment where I go, when you think of a full circle picture of going 40, you brought 14-year-old me to go see this guy. I fell in love with the world, and now, by the world I mean the comedy world. And now here we are, all three of us having a fucking pint before the ruggers. Mad. So that was just another sort of like cool moment that I got to introduce my dad to Rod. Was nice.
Yeah.
Those are the three, I would say. Worst. Yeah, fucking look at me just going, oh, and another fantastic thing that happened. Worst, easy. I don't know if you probably won't know the story because I think I used it the year before Belter. I was doing a Fringe preview in Dunfermline. The show was called Much Ado About Nothing. It was the only time I've ever really kind of done a much pun.
That's a dangerous title for an Edinburgh show.
Yeah, exactly.
You get loads of drama students coming.
Well, okay. You're not a million miles away, man. So I'm doing this preview in Dunfermline. All the other comedians that are doing it on the same day as me, there's like a few of us. They've like, I've sold like 2 tickets. I think the room holds like 80. No, I've sold 2 tickets. I'm pulling it. I've sold like 6. I might pull it. I then phoned the promoter. The promoter's like, sold out. And I'm like, I don't think I have. I mean, Vladimir McTavish just sold 6 here. No one knows who the fuck I am. And they were like, no, you've sold out. So I'm like, who knew all the Mutchie fans lived in fucking Dunfermline? Get there on the day. It's full, packed, but it's all just really old people. Like, just old ass people. And I'm just staring at them going, this doesn't look like my demographic. And then it clicks and it just drops. And then what had happened, as you well know, Mark, was they'd all bought a ticket for Much Ado About Nothing, the Shakespearean play. They thought it was like a one-man version because the poster was me in like the rough and everything. Like, it did look like. And then I walk out there and start talking about my dad's dick or whatever other bullshit I was slinging at the time. And just so many old people just confused. But my favorite, and it was horrible. Did the hour, like horrific. And I'll never forget it to the day I die. I was like stood by the door. I always thank people for coming, even if it was that. I go, thank you. I hope you got sun from it. And this old guy walked past me, put his arm, like his hand on his shoulder, and just went, I cannot believe he did the whole hour. Like, he had bets going. I cannot believe he did the whole hour. So I'd say that's the worst. I'll put that up there for worst.
Yeah. But, you got a great anecdote for a show, so...
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. As it was happening, my brain's going, this is a bit. This is so a bit.
The show about the show.
Yeah.
So, how can listeners find out all about you and where they can come and see you performing?
They can find me on Instagram at Gareth Mutch. They can find me on X, although I'd rather not be on that platform as much as possible. They can find me on Facebook, Gareth Mutch. Gareth Mutch everywhere. Yeah, that's kind of where you can find me. I don't have a website or anything like that. It'd be, what am I putting up there, man? What am I putting up there? But yeah, and then there will be, hopefully, I don't want to use the word tour because that makes it sound too grand but I think this year we are going to be bringing last year's show to more places. We usually do Leicester, Glasgow, but I think I think Barnard Castle might be in it this year. We might be bringing it to more places, hopefully somewhere in Wales as well. So yeah, let's not say tour, but if I will be coming, hopefully somewhat near you, wherever you are.
So then my last question is always the same.
This is a big one. I've been overthinking this for about 2 weeks.
Gareth, how would you sum up comedy in a nutshell?
Traveling. Trains for me, personally.
You put so much thought into it, and that's what you come up with. Trains.
Yeah. What is called a fuck? Honestly, it's just. You know what? I'll do a little callback to earlier in the app. Comedy to me has been my entire focus and energy since I was about 14 years old, I think. And like, I met my wife. She worked in a comedy club. Her mum is a stand-up comedian. Like, just everywhere I look, comedy is kind of at the hub of everything. So it's just, I mean, I would say everything, but it's also nothing. Like, I hate the comics that go too profound about it and like think of it as this beautiful. It's not. It's fart and knob joke, and it makes people happy, and we appease drunk people on weekends. Like, that's it in a nutshell. It's making Steve Stagdo not want to beat the shit out of you. That's it in a nutshell. But to me, when I look at my life now, I kind of go, it's kind of at the center of fucking everything. So to me, just all my friendships and everything in my life has spurred from this beautiful comedy seed. So yeah, to me, it's everything, but more honestly, making Steve Stagg not want to pick you up and go, "It's the guy."
Gareth, thank you so much. It's been a genuine pleasure taking the time with you. Thank you.
No, thank you, Mark, very much for having me. I've had a blast.